So there was this group of women doing a study of the book of Malachi in the Old Testament. And they came upon the third verse in chapter 3, and it puzzled them. It said, "He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver." And they wondered what this statement meant about the character and nature of God. So one of the women offered to investigate the process of refining silver and then get back to them at their next Bible study. So that week, the woman called up a silversmith and was like, "Hey, can I come watch you while you work?" And she didn't mention anything about why she wanted to do this other than her curiosity about the process of refining silver. So he agreed, and she went. And as she watched him, he held a piece of silver over the fire and let it heat up. He explained that in refining silver, one needed to hold the piece in the middle of the fire, where the flames were the hottest, as to burn all the impurities away. The woman thought about God holding us in such a hot spot. Then she thought again about the verse. He sits as a refiner and purifier of silver. So she asked the silversmith if it was true, if he had to sit there in front of the fire the entire time that the silver was being refined. He said yes, and he went on to explain that not only did he have to sit there, but he had to keep a very close eye on it, because if it was left a moment too long, then it would be damaged. The woman was silent for a moment, and then she asked, "How do you know when the silver is fully refined?" And he smiled and said, "That's easy, when I see my image in it."
All right, shalom, shalom. This is the brother Shakar here with another lesson through the power and spirit of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. Before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem Rakak Kwadash, and double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of the great millstone from which I learned this truth. Peace and blessings to the house of David doing this work with all righteousness, truth, and sincerity. And I want to say shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom. All right, this is the book of, we're going to start here in the book of Acts, chapter 14 and verse 22. And it says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue, in the faith. Why? Because we got to have that faith, man. Okay, those that endure to the end, okay, they're gonna endure because of faith. You see, but it's all been predestinated, and we don't know if we're the elect, but we got to put on therefore as the elect. You see, okay, we got to have faith in what the Lord is going to do and what He's doing for us, in this present time. Having this wisdom, this knowledge, this understanding, it's a blessing. Again, it says confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of the Most High. So it's going to be a thing of difficulty. It's not going to be easy. It's not easy. It has not been easy. We have our days. Okay, there's balance to it, but there's trials, there's tests, okay, that we got to go through. See, we got to be purified. We got to be purged, okay, from our impurities that we have, and we all carry different levels of impurities. So the Lord knows exactly, okay, what He's doing. Okay, whatever fire, whatever, trouble, tribulation, okay, that He brings you is because that's what you need. You see? Let me get this in the book of Job. This is the book of Job. Matter of fact, let me grab this let me grab it in the NLT. Job chapter 7. And let's go to verse 17. Yeah, now I'm going to go ahead and highlight those. 17 and 18. Yep. It says, what are people, that you should make so much of us, that you should think of us so often. See, and this is the Lord, man, thinking about His people, okay, the Israelites. Because, hey, we belong to Him, man. Listen, for you examine us every morning and test us every morning. See, this is what the Lord does, man. He brings us these trials, these tribulations, again, because each one of us need a certain amount of fire, okay, that we got to go through. That way our impurities, okay, are taken away from us, that we may be tried as gold. You see, and again, every one of us has a different level of impurities, and it's not going to be till till the Lord returns, okay, and we get those new bodies, we get that change, okay, that we're going to be, that we're going to be, fully righteous, and this time, we're still in the flesh, you see, but the Lord he's working on us, and all these tests that we got to go through, okay, they're not easy, they're trials, okay, really they're for us, because there's things that we need, to be cleansed of, you see. This is let me see, let's go to the book of Hebrews chapter 13. And let's go to verse 14. It says, "For we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come." You see that this is not our rest. See, Micah 2:10 tells us that this is not our rest. Matter of fact, let me grab that. It's the book of Micah, chapter 2, and verse 10. It says, "Arise ye and depart." This is speaking to you Israelites, all of us. Depart, okay, from this world mentally, okay, spiritually. You see, we got to come out of the ways of this world, because everything here is upside down, is backwards. Everything's been set up for us to fail. You see? Again, it says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest." This is not our rest. Okay, we have no continuing city here. Ultimately, that city is the kingdom. And that's what our mindset should be on, is thinking of heavenly things, okay, not things of this world. Again, there's balance. Okay, we do the best we can while we're here. You see, but that our main focus should be, how do we get out of here? How do we get out of this mess that we're in? You see? Again, it says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted." Again, this place is polluted, man. The water, the air, okay, the music, the television, okay, everything has been set up to what? To basically, be our downfall. You see? And when you walk in certain ways, okay, that are adverse to the Lord, okay, all that's doing is what? Making it easier for you to fall. Again, it says, "It shall destroy you," see, even with the sword destruction. See, and that's this place, man. So-called America. Okay, and then throughout the four corners of the earth too, but primarily here in so-called America, because this is the valley of the shadow of death. You see, everything here is upside down, man. The people are off, the music's off. Okay, the air is bad. The water is not good. The food, man. Okay, we're not even eating real food. You see, again, everything has been set up for us as Israelites to fail, man. But through the power of Spirit, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, okay, we got to keep that faith, okay, that He is doing the work, okay, that ultimately, we're going to be delivered out of this mess. Let me go here to the book of Second Esdras. Second Esdras, chapter 7 and verse 6. It says, "There is also another thing, a city is builded." Again, that city is the kingdom. Here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come, you see? It says, "And set up upon a broad field, and is full of all good things." It says, "The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall." See, like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left, the deep water. So, whether you go to the left or to the right, okay, you fall one way or the other, and that's your destruction. See, there's dangers, perils, okay, and we got to walk with balance, man, like we're walking on a balance beam. You see, it's not going to be easy. It's been hard, and it's going to continue to get even more difficult. You see, but through faith, okay, we have to have the understanding that the Lord is going to uphold us. It says, "And only one path between them both, even between the fire and the water, listen, so small that there could but one man go there at once." See, every walk is for us individually. Now we lean upon brothers. Okay, we lean upon those of the faith. Okay, to help us in times. Hey, because again, hey, this thing is very difficult, man. It can be very difficult at times. and you have to lean, upon those with wisdom. You see, but ultimately, hey, we gotta what the scripture tells us, that we have to seek out our own salvation. You see, with fear and trembling. Hey, nobody's gonna hold your hand, as you go through the kingdom. Because when this place falls, when everything, goes to hell, nobody knows, where anybody's really gonna be at. We could be at the store, we could be, somewhere down the road, when all shit hits the fan. You see? Now, you may be among brothers, you may be among your family, you may not. You see? So, when this whole shit, hits the fan, hey, you got to have that faith, man. Okay, you got to have the faith that the Lord is going to uphold you, that he's going to keep you. You see? Again, this is everybody's own walk. Everybody has their own levels of impurities that the Lord's got to cleanse. You see? So again, it says, and only one path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. Again, nobody's going to hold your hand. This walk, because hey, when these times come, hey, the scripture tells us that brother's going to turn against you. Okay, you're going to have there's going to be adversity between, your maybe your kids, your wife, your husband. If you're a woman, there's going to be many difficult things that are going to come. You see, but our trust has got to be fully in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That's why the scripture says that we must be like pilgrims, amongst the earth, man. Because as a pilgrim is what? Somebody that's traveling to a holy place. So in that holy place, eventually is that kingdom, man. You see, and that should be the mindset that we should have. Let me jump down to verse 18. And it says, nevertheless, listen, the righteous shall suffer straight things and hope for the wide. See, and scripture tells us that their righteousness is of me. So if we're righteous in the eyes of the Lord, hey, then he's going to be with us. You see? And that's the elect. Right now, we're the hopeful elect. Whoever they may be. You're going to have to go through difficult things. Listen, it says, for they that have done wickedly have suffered the straight things, and yet shall not see the wide. So as Israelites, matter of fact, let me jump back up. We all got to go through it. Let me see. Yeah, let me jump up to verse 9. It says, if this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? So these are things that we got to go through. Listen, and I said, it is so, Lord. Then he said unto me, even so also is Israel's portion. Okay, so whether if you're the righteous or if you're the 2/3, we all got to go through these things, man. You see, ultimately, the elect, will be purified. Okay, ultimately when that deliverance comes, but 2/3 got to go through what? That second death. You see, right now we're going through difficult times, and this time, as we're approaching, the height of Jacob's trouble, because we're in Jacob's trouble. Okay, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And you're going to have, the Lord, come and deliver his elect. Okay, when the missiles start to fly. Okay, when the chariots are in the air. Okay, turning people into powder. You see, but the 2/3, they're not going to make it. Okay, they're going to perish. That's why the scripture tells us that 2/3 must be cut off and must die. Matter of fact, let me grab that. Before that, let me jump down to verse 25. It says, see, and therefore Esdras, for the empty, are empty things, and for the full are the full things. You see, those of the 2/3 number, they're going to receive that empty reward. But those of the elect, they're going to receive those full rights, man, of being adopted, into the kingdom, man. Okay, being the Lord's children in this first go round. Okay, the scripture tells us blessed are those who take part in the first resurrection. See, and that's really what we should be, having our mindset on. Okay, is being delivered. But let me grab this in Zechariah. This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 13 and verse 8. It says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, and that land is speaking about so-called America, which is Babylon the Great. It says, Again, it says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. So 2 out of every 3 Israelites, they got to die here, man. They're going to perish. So they're going to be unalived. So again, that's a two-thirds. That's a way higher ratio, okay, than the 1/3. Just think about that. 2 out of every 3 Israelites, whether they know they're Israel or they don't know they're Israel, they're not going to make it. That's a lot of death. It says, and I will bring the third part through the fire, okay, which is speaking about, okay, that remnant, the election. It says, and we'll refine them as silver is refined, and we'll try them, see, as gold is tried. So all these things that we're going through right now, and in the times to come, when Jacob's trouble hits its height, okay, when World War III, okay, hits its height, these missiles start to fly, the chariots in the air, okay, those are all trials, man. Okay, whether or not, okay, you're gonna maintain that faith, okay, that the Lord's gonna be with you. When there's no food, there's no water, there's seemingly, okay, times that are impossible. Okay, that's when the Lord's gonna make His move, man. You see, and we have to have that faith that the Lord's gonna do it. But those are all trials of our faith. Okay, we have to be tried as gold is tried. It says they shall call on my name. See, that's why you got to have the name Yahweh, the name of the Father, and Yahweh Shai, the name of the Son. Without them names, you're not going to make it. It says, and I will hear them. It says, I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, see, is my power. You see, because again, these times that are here now, the times that are coming, they're very difficult, and they're just going to continue to get worse and worse and worse. See, now there's a balance, but still, man, when Jacob's trouble hits his height, when it in its full bloom, okay, the same thing with World War III. You have the missiles flying, and then again, the chariots, they're gonna crack the clouds, man. You see, so you got to have that faith in that time. But ultimately, that's whoever the elect are. Okay, they're gonna maintain their faith. But again, these are all trials, man. It's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. You see? Let me go to the book of Matthew. Matthew chapter 7 and verse 13. It says, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. It says, and many there go, and many be. It says, and many there be which go thereat. So there's going to be way more people that are going to approach that Broadway. Okay, they're going to go into that place of destruction, man. You see, that's why you have so many people, okay, walking not in the correct way, man. You see, they're off. But listen, it says, because straight is the gate, difficult, very difficult. It says, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Okay, that's why there's an election. Because there's only going to be that very small number that's truly going to maintain, again, their faith. But again, that's from the womb. Okay, whoever's been faithful from the womb, and it's been predestined. Okay, those are the ones that are going to continue. You see, but again, that path of difficulty, okay, is very narrow. Okay, and there's only going to be a few that are going to be able to walk through it. You see, Lord willing, we be a part of that number. Again, that number that's going to be delivered, it's very small. Not everyone's going to make it, man. Again, 2/3, okay, got to be cut off and be put to death. There's no way around it. 2 out of every 3 Israelites will not make it here in so-called America. And there's going to be judgment, okay, going on to the 4 corners of the earth as well. You see, they're not going to get away. Those Israelites in that 2/3 mindset in the 4 corners of the earth, okay, you're not going to make it either. Again, this deliverance, this first resurrection, it's only for the election. Let me go to 1 Peter. Let me get this in the NLT. 1 Peter chapter 4, and let's go to verse 12. It says, not reading it in NLT, it says, dear friends, don't be surprised at the fiery trials you are going through, as if something strange were happening to you. You see, it's not something strange. Again, the Lord is doing a work. Okay, those impurities got to come off of you. You see? And whatever fire you need, hey, the Lord's going to bring that fire upon you, man. You see, there's no other way around it, man. You got to go through those trials. We got to be tested. It says, instead, be very glad for these trials. It says, let me read that again. It says, instead, be very glad for these trials, make you partners with the anointed in his suffering. Now, the scripture tells us what the servant is not above his master. Hey, the Lord suffered. You see, the Lord had to go through many difficult things, man. Okay, what makes you think that we're not going to have to go through those things? We may not be put, okay, on a cross and, all that. Okay, but hey, there's going to be, even things that could be, difficult to the point where, you might be put to death. They're going to have these detention centers. They're going to have these firing ranges. They're going to be, putting people to death. Okay, by the means of the guillotine. Okay, hangings. Okay, it's going to be again this damn devil, the so-called white man. He's a madman. Okay, and anything that you can think of that is so diabolical, hey, this man has it. You see, he can do it, and he will do it. But again, you got to have that faith, hey, that the Lord's going to be with you. Okay, if you got to be put to death, you got to be a martyr. Okay, you got to have that mindset that you're not going to feel it. Okay, or hey, that he can deliver you out of those things. See, we just don't know. But that's something that, hey, we got to prepare ourselves for. Okay, we got to prepare ourselves to be in that situation. Okay, not everybody's going to be in that situation. You see? But if you are, again, you got to maintain your faith. But the Lord going to give you that faith in that time. You see? Let me read that again from the top. It says, instead, be very glad, for these trials make you partners with the anointed, see, in his suffering, so that you will have the wonderful joy of seeing his glory when it is revealed, see, to all the world. See, when the Lord, okay, returns, hey, man, you're going to be glorified, man. And it's really for the Lord's glory, Yahweh. You see, you're going to make it. And Lord willing, hey, we make it. All right, let me go ahead and grab this. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 32. Yeah, it says, but when we are judged, see, we are chastened of the Lord. See, that we should not be condemned, see, with the world. You see, when we got to go through things here, it's because the Lord he's working on us. Okay, again, he's purifying us. We're being purged. You see, because when the world is condemned, okay, when this place has got to go down, so-called America and wherever else the Lord's allowed of destruction, and we don't want to be a part of that. No, we want to be cleansed by the Lord. Okay, as much as possible in this time. Again, ultimately, we're not going to be fully, purged until we get delivered, till we get those new bodies. You see, but we got to have that proper mindset, that the Lord's with us, man. You see, and that's the faith. All right, let me go ahead and get one more. Let me go to Ecclesiasticus of Sirach, chapter 2, and it will start at the top. It says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul, see, for temptation, for the trials, for the test. Okay, you gotta be prepared mentally, spiritually, because we know they're here. Okay, they're coming. Again, we're gonna have more trials coming. It says, set thy heart aright, meaning the mind, and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble. You see, you can't just go around making a decision, okay, without being fervent in prayer. When you're in prayer, when these times come, okay, there might be a situation where you might have to make a split decision. But since you already had that, prayer lined up, okay, the Lord already has you. You see? Hey, because these times of trouble, they're here already. And they're just going to get worse. And you're going to have many that are going to perish because of making dumb decisions. Okay, making moves, okay, that are wrong. But see, those that are built up in the spirit, okay, those that have been moving the correct way, hey, the Lord got you, man. Listen, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased, see, at thy last end. And that's what we're looking for. Okay, we want that increase. Okay, we want to be delivered. It says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully and be patient when thou art changed, see, to a low state. And right now we're already in a low state, and things are definitely going to get more difficult. You may have to go through a period of time where you don't eat for 3 days. But then the Lord going to make a miracle come to pass. You see, and you got to believe that. But only those, only those with that true faith are going to truly believe. Again, these are trials, that you got to prepare for. Listen, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men, see, in the furnace of adversity. Again, that purging, the Lord is purging us, taking off that dross. It says, believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, see, and trust in him. You see, but you're going to have many that are going to fail that test, man. They're going to trust in Egypt. They're going to trust in this man's system. They're going to take that mark. So they're going to take that chip. They haven't eaten in 3 days. And then they're just going to go ahead and bow down, man. Maybe you just got to wait a couple more hours or whatever it may be, another day. But then the Lord has you. You see, but you're going to have many that are going to fail. They're not going to fully trust in the Lord. You see, you just got to trust in the Lord. So with that, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I'm going to close out and give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak, Wadash, and double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of the great millstone from which I learned this truth. Peace and blessings to the house of David, doing his work with all righteousness, truth, and sincerity. And I want to say shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.